All right, so we've got a wild one for you today. We're talking hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs facing serious accusations, and in a bizarre twist, R&B star Usher goes off the grid, like vanishes from social media at the same time.
And what's really got people talking is how this whole thing shines a light on those behind-the-scenes mentorships you hear about in the music biz, the kind that can make or break a career.
No kidding. It's like a cautionary tale about how fast things can change in the public eye, especially for a guy like Diddy who's been at the top for so long. We're diving deep into a recent piece from Clara Sports. For this one, they've got a good grip on the timeline of how this all went down, so let's bring everyone up to speed.
Definitely. So, just in case you missed it, Sean Diddy Combs arrested September 16th, right in Manhattan, by federal agents. That's already major news.
Oh, yeah, big time. Especially with those charges, we're talking sex trafficking, organized crime.
And it's crucial to remember these are just allegations at this point. BUT, they're heavy allegations, no doubt.
Yeah.
He ends up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and, well, just like you'd expect, his social media goes silent.
Understandable, given the situation.
For sure.
But here's where it gets weird, like really weird. Right on the heels of Diddy's arrest, Usher, and remember, this is a guy with a long history with Diddy, deactivates his X account. You know, the one that used to be Twitter. It was like watching a chain reaction. I mean, think about it. This is Usher, one of the biggest names in music, going dark when Diddy's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence.
No way. People were connecting dots left and right, speculating about Usher's involvement, even though, at that point, there was no solid link to Diddy's case, other than their past.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's glued to their phones, waiting for some kind of explanation, and then, wouldn't you know it, Usher actually gives one. 2 days later, reactivates his account, claims he was hacked, and that's why all his posts got wiped.
But T, and this is where it gets juicy, he goes out of his way to call out anyone who dared to even think he deleted everything himself. Almost like doth protest too much, wouldn't you say?
Totally agree. It's like that old saying, if you have to deny it that hard, maybe there's some truth to it.
Right. And it begs the question, why even address it? Why not just come back online, act like nothing happened, keep posting?
Hmm.
That response, man, that's what really throws gasoline on the fire.
And then, crickets. Total radio silence. After that whole I got hacked explanation, Usher goes completely dark about Diddy's arrest. No, hey, hope everything's cool. No, I wasn't involved, nothing. That kind of silence, it says a lot, don't you think?
It definitely raises eyebrows,
Yeah.
especially considering their history. This wasn't just some working relationship. This was mentorship, almost like a father-son thing at one point.
Totally. I mean, we're talking way back, early 90s. Usher's barely a teenager, 13 years old, when he moves in with Diddy, who was in his early 20s at the time. Talk about a life-changing experience, especially at that age. And it wasn't just a quick visit either, right? This is a full-on living under the same roof situation. Usher was there for like a year.
A year.
Yeah.
During, like, the most important years of a young person's life, too. I mean, can you imagine being a teenager, soaking up that whole world Diddy was building? This is the beginning of Bad Boy Records, man. Usher was right there for the rise of a hip-hop empire. Diddy even had a name for it, called it Puff Daddy Flavor Camp.
Puff Daddy Flavor Camp. Okay, that has a ring to it. But seriously, it makes you wonder about the long-term impact of being thrown into something like that, especially in the music industry. It's a pressure cooker.
No doubt. I mean, we all heard the stories, right, about these kind of intense mentor-mentee relationships in entertainment. Make you think, how common is this really? And is it always a good thing? Yeah, you get to learn from the best, but you're also young, impressionable.
Exactly. It's this whole other side of the story we don't often consider when we see these young stars blowing up. There's often a lot more going on behind the scenes. Speaking of which, we got to talk about what Usher himself has actually said about living with Diddy.
Yes. The infamous Howard Stern interview. It's one of those things where you just, wait, hold on, what did he mean by that? You know? So it was back in 2016, Usher's on the show talking about his life, his career, and of course, the topic of living with Diddy comes up.
Mhm.
He doesn't really get into specifics or anything, but
Sure.
he implies he saw some stuff. And I'm talking crazy stuff.
See, and that's the thing, right? Those little hints, those vague references, that's what really gets the rumor mill churning. Suddenly, Usher's radio silence on Diddy's arrest takes on a whole new meaning. Is he trying to protect himself? Or is there some code? Gotta be respectful of the past.
Yep. It's impossible to say for sure. But you do have to wonder, what's going through his head? What do you even DO in that situation? If he speaks out, risks making an enemy of Diddy could hurt his own career. But if he stays silent, well, he becomes a target for all the gossip and speculation.
It's a classic catch-22, stuck
Yeah.
between a rock and a hard place. But let's zoom out for a sec, big picture here, because this isn't just about Diddy and Usher, really. It's about how we, as a society, react to these accusations, especially in the age of social media. Like, it's the court of public opinion happening in real time.
100%. And it moves at lightning speed, too. People forming opinions, judgments, even handing down punishments before a single legal thing has happened. Guilt by association, that's the name of the game online, sadly.
Yeah.
And it really makes you question, is that right? Is that how it should be?
That's the million-dollar question, man. And I honestly don't think there's an easy answer. I mean, on the one hand, innocent until proven guilty, that's what we're taught. But it's also human nature, right, to hear these serious accusations and, at least on some level, start forming an opinion.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And social media, it's like throwing gasoline on that fire. We see it all the time. Someone gets accused of something and boom, their whole career, their entire life, it's on the line. Whether they did it or not, that's a whole lot of pressure, especially for someone constantly in the public eye like Usher.
And it's crazy, right? Even if he never meant to comment on Diddy's situation one way or the other, that silence in itself, it becomes this statement.
Totally. It just adds this whole other layer to the story. Speaks to how powerful social media really is. It controls the narrative, like it or not.
It's like the whole world's watching him, waiting for him to mess up, say the wrong thing, anything to confirm what they already think.
In that kind of environment,
Mm-hmm.
it's no wonder someone would choose to just stay quiet.
There it is, the big question. What would you do if you were Usher? Speak up. Or lay low, ride out the storm. It's a tough call, really. Makes you wonder, in the long run, does clamming up even work? Or does it just make things messier?
It's kind of impossible to say.
Yeah.
Every situation is different, right? Sometimes, yeah, no comment, it looks bad, like you're hiding something, or even worse, you agree with what's going on. But then at other times, you say something, anything, and whoosh, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's a judgment call. It depends on so many factors.
For sure, context is king, as they say. And we got to remember, too, it's easy to get caught up in the drama, the gossip. But these are real people, with lives, with families, with reputations on the line. Public scandals, they might seem entertaining from the outside, but they have real consequences for the people caught in the middle.
100%. And it goes beyond the people directly involved, too. It's about us, society as a whole. When we're so quick to point fingers, to condemn, it creates this environment of fear, of suspicion, makes it harder for people to speak out, to share their stories, especially victims.
That's such a good point. I mean, how many times have we seen it, right? Trial by social media, blowing up overnight, careers ruined, lives destroyed, and it makes you ask the tough questions, Are we too quick to hit that cancel button these days? Have we lost that sense of, I don't know, giving people the benefit of the doubt?
It's something we all got to think about. It's like, we want justice, we want accountability, but we also got to believe in due process, in fairness.
Yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty. That whole thing, finding that balance, that's the key. And it's not always easy.
Not at all. This whole thing with Diddy and Usher, it really drives that point home, I think. On the surface, yeah, it's easy to see it as just another day in the life of celebrity drama. But underneath, it's about mentorship, about loyalty, about how we treat each other, even when things get messy, and how we react when the court of public opinion starts handing down verdicts.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And it's far from over, too. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think that's the biggest takeaway. There's still a lot we don't know, and that's okay. It's the courts that'll decide Diddy's fate, not us armchair judges.
Very true. Very true. But in the meantime, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, that's for sure. And, it's what we do here on the Deep Dive. We get those conversations started, those wheels turning.
Nothing like a good mental workout.
Nothing at all.
No.
So as we sign off, just one last thing for you to chew on. Does Usher's silence, regardless of his reasoning, change your opinion of him? Just food for thought as we navigate this crazy world of fame, scandals, and, well, the court of public opinion. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, stay curious and keep asking the tough questions.